Hey guys. Now, this is a very interesting interview that you might find interesting. For those who haven't been following this series, I am trying to expose a vigilante predator hunting group called the Senate and their leader, LioConvoy, for things he did to my friends. So, in this interview, I am interviewing North. They asked to be well, actually, I sent them a request and they accepted. North has been covering the drama with LIO and Senate a lot. And now I'm interviewing them because they were a former member of Senate. So, this is gonna be cool. Poker Night 2, as always, is the game for footage. So, if you guys like it, if you liked how it looked and want to check out, link to download it for free is in the pinned comment. Here's the interview. Hey North, welcome to the show.
Hello. Hello.
Good to have you on. So, first question. Can you share some of your experiences being part of LIO's group?
Well, my experience with Lyle's group is kind of similar to a dice roll, really. It's not that I have, my personal experience with Senate. I was mostly an outsider, though I will give out that I did join pretty back in the barrel days, where the Zoophile Police Department, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically a gimmick account that call us out, like the degeneracy off from Twitter, like pedophiles, zoophiles, etc. But I was particularly involved with that time period with LioConvoy, and I have gotten an invite to that server. And there was a time where Senate allowed, minors back in the day, because CPD was also around Lio at the time. He would make a guideline to, minors joining the server with a restricted role, I believe, that was given out to them when I was that was preventing minors from participating in separate specific dramas that had to do with calling out the degeneracy into question, really. And I was 17, I believe, at the time when I joined. But the only experience that I had with Senate was during that time, at least, was me being a annoying Gerblin inside of the Senate, to the point where Baiji and Tuped, or Sped, as you like to call him, will call me annoying inside the PCs. But as the time went through, my account actually got composed, and by that I mean I forgot the email and password of the account. So Lyle did a purge of inactive accounts, and my old account got kicked off from the server. But as far as association goes, I went to Coyote Lovely's server when I wasn't even around Senate at the time to message Coyote Lovely about a predator being in his circles. And I was given the opportunity to hop onto his stream that is still up to this day. And I'm forever cursed with that. This was also when I just turned 18, and I got lumped in with trying to get resources to the victim to make their own tip line, but it only ended up with them lying about sending a tip line, so I had to make one myself, and nothing came out with it. Besides that, I rejoined the server when I was 19 due to me calling out Coyote Lovely, which, spoilers, it's going to lead up to the next question later, so I'll just push that to the side. But when I joined back in the Senate, I noticed that the vibe inside of the server was completely different compared to the old Senate. It was a lot more blood sports than what we know about Senate today, and there was basically no filter into the calls that were called out. So it's basically supposed degenerates for liking questionable art, and I think you can even cite. I honestly think you can even find some of those calls actually today inside of IG's channel, which I can give that to you if you like.
I actually would like that. I'll leave that in the description.
Alright, sweet. Besides that, I didn't worry about it too much, but I just usually hop back in and out. I had calls where I would confront someone in Senate under suspicion of troll shielding in a server. Herb Kitty being one of those examples, and that was like one call that I had with like LIO back in the day, but cutting off to the chase to my experience as a whole, the most damning experience that I had throughout all of this is due to LIO's accountability responsibility video that was made for the Fox Mafia. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I was more Fox Mafia adjacent than Senate adjacent. And LIO would make a custom rule for the Fox Mafia members at the time to allow anybody to bully said people. And during that time as well, I had a slight fight with a individual named Pizza, who was a mod for the Fox Mafia due to him misrepresenting my timeline of events and crazy allegations pressed against me. I'll be fair, considering that I actually did start out in the Senate. But outside from the Senate, Pizza was the first to start shit with me over my suspicion of his choices once it comes to cutting people off. And this also led to Pizza getting so basically twisted up in the ass about it, to where he will make claims that I am a zoophile and a zoo enabler. He will also make claims that I will withhold information about one of my co-hosts of my stream to being a zoophile, which was twisted to the most bad faith allegation he came up with. And I am planning to cover that soon eventually. But besides that, Pizza will make that allegation due to that stream that I did on Coyote Lovely on my old channel, considering that my co-host was outed for having intercourse with a zoophile, and the stream that I can also give it to you as well. But Pizza and Cass will cherry pick that stream, thinking that I was withholding that the co-host of my streams was a zoophile. Around that time though, I was mentally broken from the Coyote stuff and my co-host being outed for having intercourse with a zoophile, and it basically added salt to the wound for me. This was also a day that, after a day that Coyote Lovely got called out by Cass. And given how Cass is known to be an egomaniac liar, I wasn't surprised, but he will basically pull out that shit to me for basically mocking me for my mental health due to me being mentally broken at the time.
Ouch.
But besides that, I got raccoon pitted after and if you don't know what that is, it's basically just a gay baby Joe inside the Senate where every single channel is basically much restricted to you. After Pizza claims that I was still in contact with the Fox Mafia only because I was having a grudge against Hopeless Peaches, and went to a forum website to talk about that, even though at the time, they could see that I was fighting with 3 Fox Mafia members inside the forums. And it was also known later that, not really known, but known in my presence anyways, that they were basically baiting me into a call with Pizza over a thread I had about me being one of Pizza's friends, me calling one of the Pizza's friends to be a Nazi baby fur, as well as Pizza's following of questionable art that is revealed to me to be someone's account that Pizza follows. But besides that, it was also to stack up anything that from what Pizza has been accusing me of, and everybody in the Senate took that as fact, despite me debunking those allegations inside the call. But to just say how the call was compared to the other Senate calls, it did took a mental toll to me, despite me saying that LIO didn't have much time to be in the call because not LIO, but I didn't have enough time to be in that call because at the time it was actually Father's Day and I wanted to clean the whole house as a surprise for him. But I brought that up in the VC, and other people decided to dogpile me on jokes to make references.
I said the shit? That is so fucked up.
Yeah, but continuing, sorry. I was basically dogpiled for that alone, and people will make references to me making toxic gases, so just so I could kill myself, basically. And they were making fun of me for basically having a relationship with my family members, and that got me thinking that I was just basically useless and I couldn't contribute to anything in life. And that call just killed my motivation completely and resulted in me breaking about year 3 from, sorry if the audience is sensitive to this, but it did basically broke my, a year 3 of me self-harming myself. And to make this clear, actually, I really don't like people giving me sympathy over that particular event, but besides the point, I do get pretty pissed off when people do that, but I get people who do that. But continuing nonetheless, the call also resulted in me deleting my old channel back in the day, a day or two later after that call, because I basically really needed a hiatus to the internet and to to clear out my mind, basically. And it was also at a point where I was also distancing myself from the Fox Mafia. And before, around three months later, I believe, the Fox Mafia basically shitted itself when Graham Skull left the Fox Mafia due to withholding information just to basically save themselves instead of actually defending themselves publicly. You can also find a playlist that I'll also link to you that gives out everything about the Fox Mafia.
Link to that is also in the description.
Yeah, perfect. It'll also cover the Senate's intentions along with that too. But Lumi a Pizza later on, 2 months after I did the stream, those streams in particular, Lumi a Pizza will come into my server to basically call me about the Fox Mafia war and all that. And that call in particular is also recorded for a good reason, and it's because later on, after a month later, I take a note that Lumi and Pizza were still spreading the same rumors that Pizza has it denounced, back in when I was involved with Senate at the time, and that got me to go against the Senate for basically everything they have done to me in that time frame, and resulted in LIO spreading those rumors publicly to basically deflect everything that I had to say about him and his antics.
I see. So, you mentioned that you were saving something about Coyote Lovely for this next question. So, what initially drew you to LIO's community, and what were your expectations going in?
Well, what drew me to the community was I obviously previously stated when CPD was around, but I had to join back to my grudge with Coyote Lovely, and to explain what that is, I was basically involved with the suspicion of Coyote Lovely talking to Sakalo 3 days before Gilded Pooh's video was released on Coyote Lovely, over the fact that I was talking to him about it in Discord DMs after Gilded's video on him. And this was also the same day that I discovered what Kiwi Farms was, but besides the point, Coyote would brush it off as public knowledge at the time, and I gave benefit of the doubt at the time as well. Fast forward to November of 2023, I joined the Fox Mafia to spread awareness that there might be a possibility that Coyote Lovely was helping Sarkalo and having children to go into Telegram chats to basically fix their paraphilias, but in reality, they were having Sue files and Sue sadists to turn these children into props and then becoming Sue files themselves. And once I showcase that to Cass, he will skip over the thread that I give to him, and it got swept under the rug until like Cass held a string where Coyote Lovely would basically they announce Sir Carlo in the stream. This didn't really change my suspicion, but I still give the same benefit of the doubt when I asked him about it back in August. I was actually actively trying to find undeniable proof that Coyote basically partaking in those events with the Telegram chats and all. Before it even got worse, when I was hosting a stream on an interview with Core Kitty at the time and called Coyote a narcissist. I won't go over the messages considering that I have done so already, but I can give you the thread as well where it has those messages so that you can review it in your own time. And also link it in the description as well.
Of course.
But after that, though, I and Cedric will make we'll basically make a gay op against Coyote Lovely. But at the time, the thing is that Cedric will basically also be lumped in with the Senate, which confused me at the time because I didn't thought that LIO would knew about the information I showcased to Cass, but as it turns out, it was brought to me that they had the infamous call with Sir Carlo in their Burrow Archive channel as unlisted, and that got me to be suspicious of the Senate as well. Eventually, I was giving Cedric information for his Kiwi Farms thread that he wrote, and I particularly wrote in the premiere section due to him panicking about the thread not servicing at a certain date. It was also brought out to me that Coyote was basically doing a gay op on Sappho and Alex. Not Sappho with Alex, but basically just a gay op on Sappho with Alex, Pizza, and Rodeo being involved. And the gay op went to shit for a month before me and Cedric were making the Kiwi Farms thread that boosted our basically boosted our confidence to work on the thread. As soon as the thread was released, I asked Pizza for a snippet of Coyote Lovely to admitting flat out to flirting with Sappho, and he applied to it. I would also send that snippet on Twitter, and it resulted in me having a SWAT fight on Twitter with Coyote Lovely that was showcased in the intro of Hopeless Peaches' video, but it never really got talked about, but whatever. A week later of that thread being released, Cass did a stream on Coyote Lovely, and basically, I guess the rest is history. And me and Lyle would basically talk to each other about it in DMs, and that he apologized about the impact it hit to me with Coyote Lovely. But after that, I'll ask for an invite to the server, and he gives me one. And as far as expectations go, I had none to begin with. I'm the type of guy that is more so one man army and basically bringing your own bullets type of guy. And I would just usually guide the LioConvoy throughout my communication with him. And a good example to that would be the comparison to his content. If you watch any other video before Lio's Coyote call, you won't necessarily see any Gundam builds over commentary, and that's basically because I was basically suggest that he will use Gundam buildings to go on top of his calls to have people take interest to his Gundam reviews, right?
Yeah.
Gundam reviews. Damn, that was a mouthful. But he was complaining about his reviews not getting as much views compared to him just ripping and tearing people. And I won't lie, I did actually set him up with failure because now people are going to make fun of him for that, which it's whatever at the end of the day. I just think it's funny. But another example will be the zero tolerance policy that he keeps bringing up. I I suggested that considering that I was having a debate with LIO about how he could have done the Coyote situation better. There shouldn't be any tolerance from something that's undeniable of a person doing horrendous acts. And by that, I don't mean I don't really mean stupid ones. But knowing what we know now, I don't think LIO can hold Peaches to that standard, and we all know why at this point.
Yeah, he will just provide so many double standards. Like that one Senate rule that was leaked. I heard there was this one Senate rule that was leaked. I saw the screenshot where there are these mods or VIPs or whatever they're called that say they don't have to follow the rules, which screams double standards.
Oh, that's actually news to me because everybody else would be basically given shit for just breaking the custom rules to begin with. So I'm actually intrigued in that. So that is also another double standard.
Same. What were the specific incidents or events, or even if there's just one, what was the specific thing or things that led to you to decide to leave LIO's community?
Basically, it was just people withholding information when it's like the perfect time to drop someone. With everything taking a grudge against LIO, LIO will basically metaphorically align those people to be degenerates just because they share the same grudge that those people have on him and deflect actual criticism. And fun fact, you can literally pop in Senate right now and then ask for their side, and they will automatically assume the worst out of you by either one, paranoia, or two, just bias in general. A good example would have been Sazu, which he also interviewed that person, but basically no offense. He did have a recording that I have uploaded into my Fox Mafia archival playlist, where he would basically assume the worst out of Cedric just because he was like mainly shit posting, and Sazu basically took that too seriously. He built that rage to a point where he had a stroke placed in PC, and I was gonna step in and stop the call before a mod pretty much just stop the call in general, which I will give credit for. The only credit, anyways. Then he will make a sob story about it and mentions that he will be making a script. And then he also mentioned that he was making a script for Peach's video on Coyote Lovely, and I just told him that if he needed something, since I was basically involved with it, he can basically hit me up for it. But pretty recently, we did actually apologize to each other on Twitter, and we went our separate ways. Besides that, I had someone literally coping in my community post just because YouTube recommended my page in their community posts. And they would basically make every little thing that is surfaced and turn it to like 1,000 just because they want to go by association to everybody at this point. Well, basically failing at the same time, because guilt by association is just breathing in the same room as someone. But let me ask you this, actually. Do you know which people can apply to actual guilt by association when it comes to LioConvoy?
Tell me.
Oh boy. Vita, FEGR, and basically Coyote Lovely at this point. And also keep in mind, too, that I really fucking hates the guilt by association shit. Vital just uses that completely wrong, and it really pisses me off that nobody has catched that ever before within the sentence either, because they will usually be afraid of saying anything, or they just want to be a flock of sheep and ride the trauma train. But it's not just that either. I'll go ahead and talk about something that no one has ever said, just to scale out the obvious. It's also unethical on the Senate's part just to flat out lie about your image, and then having a connection due to the server changes to basically kill off the blood sports shit. And LIO has only changed the style of his server because he notices that he is getting attention, and he would basically have to apply optics just to run the YouTube game. And LIO will lump into debating on cartoons slash reviews, to blood sports, to pedophile hunting, to commentary, to moral grandstanding and said commentary, and as of what we know now, pretty much, just videos that are focused on accountability. And considering the amount of changes that LIO has gone through, you want to know why that's the case?
Tell me.
It's because of Hopeless Peaches. The art commentary community would not handle what 2020 Senate was back in the day, because that would basically kill off his YouTube game, and it's obviously shown that if you compare any Senate call that is in Baiji's channel to the recent Senate calls, everything has to deal with Peaches, including LIO's growth on YouTube. So that's a pretty much an obvious statement on LIO's part when it comes to him making content.
Yeah, that's why I've noticed. And to be honest, I'll give LIO this. He does make very fascinating reviews on cartoons and toys, even though his predator hunting stuff is definitely bigger. But it's kind of weird to say that he wants to do toy and cartoon reviews, but the predator hunting stuff gives better views. And you see a lot of YouTube gurus saying upload the content you want. So, yeah, really sus on his part.
It really is. You can just trace back to his footsteps on his past videos, and you automatically notice that once LIO communicated with Hopeless Peaches, he completely switched his content, and we all know why at this point.
Yeah, so I just realized this. Essentially, it's like LIO is the compass and Peaches is the magnet, would you say?
Yeah, he's basically trying to put more attention to Peaches than anybody else within the Senate.
I see that.
But it's also because it's his founded family daughter or whatever the fuck too. So that's also another grudge.
Yeah, the only one he wants to keep right now, probably.
I mean, with everything in place, he disowned all of his children besides Hopeless Peaches. So there you go.
Yup. So, on to the next question, which this one is going to be on LIO's leadership style. How would you say it impacted the overall dynamics and atmosphere of Senate?
Honestly, I don't even know how to answer that question. Even though I already answered that for you, but to narrow it down, it basically started out as a blood sports community, and when you start out like that, you basically already make it into a toxic wasteland, no matter what you do to fix it. It's basically only going to backfire at you, and that basically can got to the atmosphere by the toxicity, the toxicity in question. Sorry, and I also stated that too. When you step into shit you happen to step on, it will basically stick to you. It doesn't really matter when you become optic cancer. When you can't stick to something, people are going to question whether or not that kind of attraction is coming from you, and it'll only take like other people's suspicion to raise. And Lio will basically be thrown into the fire pit. Just get rid of that in general. If Lio didn't really grandstand like he usually does nowadays, people wouldn't really make an ass out of it. And it's also one of the reasons why I have uploaded the Rosa call, is because he grandstanded it in his X-Ray video when it comes to ableism.
Yeah, I actually got a comment in the last video, in the last interview, where someone was like, well, as a high-functioning person with high-functioning autism, Rosa shouldn't be excused. And I'm like, bruh, no one's excusing it. The disability is there to explain it. Like, to quote someone Lio defends a lot, Jar, how do you expect people to act? Like they don't have it?
Well, here's the thing, too. Autism is a spectrum, and everybody's different. And
Exactly.
not everybody can relate to somebody who has autism compared to Rosa, and compared to the mental health that Rosa has. It makes me even look normal.
Yeah.
So it's not really an argument that people should grandstand on just because you have autism. It doesn't really excuse. It's more of an explanation to Rosa's mental health.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get the outside from that call in general. Rosa is actually a piece of shit. If you don't know, Rosa hangs around with Gregory Chin, which is a pedophile who was basically honeypotted, and Brian Mullins the Fox, which he's also the furry Christian, and I also make videos on Brian Mullins as well, which Rosa would also flat out admit to having child porn and sending it in Harley's server, I believe, as well. I think.
Yeah.
I'll have to find the video of that and send it to you.
Yeah. I might go over this in a video of my own. I had this idea of comparing people like Rosa to Buddy from The Incredibles, but that's a video for another day. For now, what kind of other her behaviors or patterns of attitude that you saw in Senate that you found troubling or problematic?
You mean insights or just conversations in general?
Yeah, general.
Okay, that's an easy question. What people really need to be aware of when it comes to people on YouTube, they need to avoid people who say, and I'm paraphrasing by the way, but that quote, they liked being informed. And if you hear anything like that, whether it's paraphrasing or just using different syllables, just fucking run away from them. And the reason why I say that, as that is basically a hot take here, is usually because if you actually go out your way to talk to LIO about information, you are basically placing yourself into a situation where LIO can basically mess up your narrative of the situation at a stage where you are basically vulnerable at. And this has happened to me before with Cats War Fox, and I don't want anybody to go out their way and make the same mistake that I did. Basically, take my advice, go call those people on your own pace. Don't let anybody screw up your narrative just because they want brownie points on the internet. It's basically it's basically a cult action, and basically saying that nobody has ever result to that conclusion inside the Senate tells me that there's way more layers than referring to LIO with said information.
Yeah, that's my approach to if I get invited into Senate. And people have tried to get me into Senate before, and I like to use that thing they teach in schools. The 3 words, just say no.
I just love how that you make that example when LIO pretty much says the same thing. But
Yeah.
calls you a pussy over not joining the call, even though it's productive to not do that.
Yeah. And which is also kind of ironic because he'll demand you get in a call with 60-something strangers, and yet if you want to just talk to him one-on-one, he's the one who pusses out. I mean, just ask Zay. As much of a shithead Zay is, that's hilarious.
He's afraid of the big black man.
Yeah, he's afraid to go up against the prince. Anyway.
I mean, at the same time, he's also afraid of some furry Wendigo internet person thing as well. But besides the point, go on.
Yeah. So, I think you've already mentioned a few examples already, but what other ways would LIO and his associates respond to criticism from people both in and outside of the community?
Oh boy. Oh man. Once it comes to criticism and how they handle it, I actually had to think about this for a second and how I can actually paraphrase it. So compared to the Barrow days, there were no calls that aligned with disagreements. It was mostly just bashing degenerates and called said degenerates out. Similar to what Chim Medicare did back in the day. If you had a disagreement, that would be taken to a separate call with no moderation, unless if it's major. Considering that I was around during the blood sports era of the furry community, I was more attached to that compared to the Senate. It was more blood sports, for example, but if we were talking about the recent Senate, somewhere around 2022 or 2023, it was more moderated and more formal rather than just a Spurg fest. They will usually place in calls that involve a possibility to someone being a degenerate, but only for the purpose of someone that has a grudge against, as I previously mentioned as well.
Yeah. So, can you share any other insights or observations about the culture or norms of LIO's group that you haven't already?
Shit. You're placing me on the spot on this, but,
Sorry about that.
You're good. Shit. Well...
We can do this later in an addendum interview.
No. I just popped it up. I did answer this, but it's mostly just. Actually, can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Are there any other insights or observations that you've made about LIO or his associates that you haven't brought up yet?
Actually, not really, to be honest with you. everybody within the interviews that you pretty much partake in already said it already, and I kind of agree to that.
Cool. Last question. What do you hope will come from exposing these behind-the-scenes experiences and revelations about LIO and Senate?
Well, I will just say that LIO needs to... Well, everybody basically wants to, have LIO to basically take accountability for the stuff he has done. But when it comes to me, I'm not all about that. It's basically already too late. He's not going to. But what I do hope that comes out from is for people to basically open their third eye when it comes to calling out LIO and his Senate. They also need to know what kind of pattern of LIO's behavior goes, and how he gets people on call just to only punch down throughout all of his career, and how he deals with people inside of those calls, and how he basically talks to them on a general basis. Because how Coyote Lovely puts it, and I'm paraphrasing, by the way. It's the little things that you can infer about a person when you connect a few dots, and to basically give an opportunity to connect those dots. For anybody who is inside Senate right now, it's never too late for that. I recommend for anybody to just to take a chance to watch other people commentate or just flat out doing content on the Senate in general. And I also recommend anybody to just to watch it, just to get their perspective on how they feel like they have been wronged. This can basically include myself or anybody within the Senate. I have been covering the Pedophile Hunter Civil War with 7 parts already, and I recommend watching those videos from my Pedophile Hunter Civil War playlist. Whether you are anti-Fox Mafia or anti-Senate, or even both at this case, even hell, go watch Tom's interviews too, and also watch Gilded Pooh's video on the matter and Kumo's recent video on the LIO situation, which he will also cover up the Fox Mafia later too. And also go watch Endless Streams, or even my streams. Give everybody that I just mentioned a watch, and then take their perspective.
Yeah, I'll leave links to all their videos down below. Oh, North, after this interview is done, I ask that you please send me the links to the things we've all talked about. And with that, thanks for coming on the show and giving your story.
No problemo.